Hello, all. Quick note here. This is a mistake I see a lot of people make, but just because something is a social construction or has elements of social construction doesn't mean it's real. And this is this can be a pretty difficult thing to navigate intellectually or academically, just because, especially when we get situations where we often use the names for our social construct. We use the same words for a social construct and a non-socially constructed object that are related. But the thing is even if we're just talking about the pure social constructs are still real. Sometimes they're conceptual, or they may even be concepts. They may not even be properly speaking a social construct, but more conceptual. Because just because something's an abstraction doesn't mean it's not real either. And you can also draw social constructs from abstractions, which is kind of an interesting thing. So social constructs are they always come from something, whether it's an abstraction or real physical circumstances. They come from something and they represent some kind of reality. And so when you're looking to change social constructions, you kind of have to ask questions about where they're coming from and figure out why they exist, what functions they do serve, because pretty much all of them do serve functions. They may not do it well, but they do it. And what kind of social constructs you want to replace them with, because that's also a thing. It's like even if it's pretty much impossible to abolish a concept entirely. You're typically going to need to replace it with something that meets the needs that the original social construct filled. But yeah, the main thing I just wanted to make clear is don't treat social constructs as fake, or as anything less than real. Even the ones that are completely artificial, 100% arbitrary and whatnot, they become real pretty quick. You can consider borders. Most borders that are just straight lines on a map and don't follow any natural line or have nothing to do with history or culture or anything like that. Even borders that are completely invented like that, they very rapidly become real. You can look at the U.S. border and the U.S. southern border. It's most of it's just a straight line set by a treaty when neither Mexico nor the United States really had any control over the regions that the line's through, that the line covers. Neither the U.S. nor Mexico really controlled those regions. But it's that line has become very real in terms of dividing cultures into two, dividing legal systems into two. Even if you erased it today, there wouldn't be a seamless reuniting of the communities on each side of that border like you would have had, used to exist, because those communities did used to be united, and they used to be more united even before the 90s. So it's even when you try to get rid of a social construct or alter it, it's there's going to be very real concrete circumstances in terms of, just in terms of whatever you change it to, or heaven forbid if you just get rid of it and don't really anticipate the consequences. So yeah, it's just some other things. There's people often do try to apply this kind of reasoning towards numbers. Numbers are real. Even imaginary numbers actually have physical applications, and imaginary numbers is actually a misnomer, unfortunately, but because they actually are real. But yeah, so numbers, and that's a whole even another topic about why numbers aren't merely social constructs. But other ones, we're hearing a lot of this about gender and romance and love and things like that, and it's that's always worrying, because it's gender exists. There's a lot of the social construct of gender that is problematic and overgrown, is how I would describe it. There's a lot of things that are that. There's a lot of things that have become gender that didn't need to, like colors or clothing, things like that. But there are parts of gender that are literally essential to the good functioning of society, because it's important for other people to know somebody, because gender exists as a social concept, the social construct component of sex. Gender is supposed to correspond to physical sex, because there are social implications for physical sex, like being able to accommodate properly, for instance, someone's pregnancy needs, or menopause, periods, things like that. Male specific issues, female specific issues, and it's especially important in development. So when we're talking, when we're talking about minors, it's really like there's a lot of situations where teachers need to be able to know, without needing to make intrusive inquiries into a young student's life, where it's just important for a teacher to know and just be able to like be more accommodating. And then similarly, medicine, there are significant differences, things like that. Now the thing is like as long as there is a social component of sex, which is what we call gender, there's going to be people who abuse that. There are people who discriminate against people on the grounds of their physical sex because of gender, or through gender. Gender helps people identify that. But that's the thing, is that's an overgrowth. That sexism is not grounds for the abolition of gender. It's grounds for attacking sexists. Like abolishing, like even if you alter gender or abolish gender, it's like you don't actually get rid of gender. Like the thing is like we'll just have something new form around physical sex, and we won't be calling it gender, but it'll be the exact same thing and just under a different presentation, because we need social rules to deal with the implications of physical sex. And the reality is, it's like if we're talking about like even talking about gender as it is, even in the most liberal like notions of the concept, even like the reality is it's like you can't actually swap genders. It's like that's not really what's happening, because you're really just engaging with stereotypes. And when people supposedly transition genders, what's really going on is you've just seen stereotypes about the opposite gender, and you start appropriating those and acting within them. Because you don't have like, for instance, if I were to try to transition, I would never be able to act like a woman. I would act like what I think a woman acts like, if I wanted to be seen as a woman, which is so basically I would have to live within my own sexist beliefs in order to attempt a transition, and I think that's a worrying thing about the whole circumstance. With modern gender theory, is that it tends to reinforce the more sexist parts of gender, while like destroying the actually useful parts of gender. Because the useful parts of gender are knowing how to accommodate people based on their make reasonable accommodations based around people's sex. So yeah, sorry, this is a bit rambly. But yeah, basically social constructs are real. It's like you have to deal with them. You can't just wipe them away. You can't you got to deal with them head on and actually understand what they are in order to be able to deal with them appropriately. So see y'all on the flip side. And there's a lot more that I'll probably say at some point or another on these kinds of subjects, but because it's like, this is a complex topic, and most people don't know how to navigate it, so you kind of just get caught listening to like very pithy slogans. Like whoever comes up with a nice slogan ends up dominating these discussions. So there's a lot more to say on the subject, and we will do that later. If nothing else, just let this be an introduction to the subject and why. So yeah, see y'all. Take care and au revoir.